Hello everybody, welcome back to 10 Minute Reviews. I'm Jason bringing you today's video. This fuzzy one right here is Freya. She's my fuzzy little co-star. Don't huff at me, Missy. And we're bringing you, like I said, today's video, bringing you a new author and a new book, something we haven't talked about in the past. Guys, please hit the like and subscribe buttons. We'd appreciate any support you guys are willing to give us. We love to do this. We want to bring you guys books. We want to bring you guys authors. Plus, I really appreciate all the books and authors you guys are recommending to me. And I don't think enough people read for fun. So we're going to do this no matter what. But the support means a lot to us and will definitely help us out. And on that note, thank you to our patrons. We hope you guys are enjoying what we are able to put out onto there. Eventually we will expand it out. I promise you. Promise you. Right now we're working 4 jobs between the two of us, so it's kind of tough. So today I want to talk about the author. I got to read this one. I don't know how to pronounce this. Samer Rabadi, and his book series 8. I'm going to talk about the first book, which is called, 8. Guys, I ran across this book not too long ago and added it to my list because it seemed very, very interesting. The problem is I add probably 10, 12 books to my list for every 6 or 7 that I finish. So my list gets longer and longer and longer. But this then got recommended to me by a couple of our viewers, so it bumped a little bit higher on the list, and I had some time to start reading it yesterday. And finished the first book and a couple other books, and I wanted to talk about it because you know what, it is absolutely fantastic. This was a great book. I think this is going to be a fantastic series. It's very, very different. It's got a lot of the elements of things that most of us really like. The litRPG elements, some of the reborn isekai type stuff where you got someone from our world set over to a fantasy world with magic and stuff like that, and then has to muddle their way through, puzzle their way through. They typically end up overpowered, and you can kind of see a hint of how that may eventually occur with this book, but it's not quite there yet. And again, there are some twists here. So, as always, I'm going to talk about, or as usual, I'm going to talk about 4 things. I'm going to talk about the world, the characters, the plot, and the writing style. So the world, typical fantasy world. We are in the Middle Ages adjacent type fantasy world. You've got your monsters, you've got your swords and sorcery, although I wouldn't really call it sorcery, closer to just magic, and it's a system type world. So our main character has an interface basically that any of you that read litRPG books will be very, very familiar with. Now, they do explain out how most people in this world don't really have this kind of system. They almost have more of an instinctive knowledge of the things that our character just doesn't know, so he needs this system to help him. Because he wasn't born with this, he didn't grow up with this. And then you've got a lot of spirits. Spirits play a big part in this. They're definitely intelligent spirits. They're very powerful spirits. They're not all powerful. They're not gods. Some are. Some are lesser spirits, greater spirits, things along those lines. And again, magic and rune-based type magic. So the main character, his name is, he goes by 8. Now this is kind of a joke. It kind of happened accidentally when he first checked his system. Now the character, here's one of the interesting twists about this character is that he's 8 years old. 8 years old, and you're taking a grown adult from our world, 60, 70 something years old, I believe, maybe in their 50s, I can't remember, but definitely a grown adult children, and someone that's got some survival experience, survival training, but this time through kind of an interesting medium. And it was pretty smart of the author, really clever of the author, to come up with this job that the former job of our main character, that is basically an excuse to give him a basic knowledge of a whole bunch of skills, and it makes sense. It makes sense how this person would have been introduced to all these different skill sets and all these different little things to learn to help him in a survival situation. So our character 8, also known as Oliver or Ollie, he almost immediately, he almost dies a whole bunch of times, almost immediately, but he very earlier on ends up under the protection basically of a local spirit, mostly due to the intervention of the god that brought him to this world. But some friendship ends up joining up, and it's almost like a family type thing by the end of the book, along with some others that join the family that I'm not going to talk about because those will most definitely be spoilers. Now, another interesting thing about this is that even though 8 is only, well, 8, because of his experiences and what happens to him in the first part of the book, and his prior knowledge and his abilities, he very rapidly grows in some power. It doesn't mean he goes from level 0 to level 40. But by the end of the first book, I want to say he's level 2. Level 1 or level 2. I want to say he's level 2. And in this world, that actually makes him, by their laws or custom or traditions, makes him an adult. Children are level 0. Children are level 0. And then it's approximately, and around 10 years old, they go through a process that then takes about 5 years for them to reach level 1 or to reach adult. They kind of enter like a quasi-adulthood at 10, or by about 15 years old they become full adults. Well, it's mostly based off your levels and your abilities, and because 8 is already a level 1, in fact is a level 2, he is by their traditions an adult, even though he's 8 years old. So that gets interesting as well, although that does not really come into play until the second book, which I will talk about in another video. So you've got Iskael, I believe, the spirit. Then you've got a couple other side characters, well, main characters, supporting characters, I suppose. They're recurring and pretty much permanent within the book series, but I don't want to bring up too much with them because that would definitely be some spoilers. Now, as far as the plot goes, this is almost a slice of life, especially the first book. The first book is a slice of life for sure. Oliver, or 8, come into this world trying to figure it out, almost dying, trying to figure out the interface, trying to figure out what the stats mean, what the status screen means, what his talents mean, how magic works, how to learn it. Even when he does start learning magic, it's not really given to him. He's given a hint of it. It's almost like he's given a Rosetta Stone, and here you go, figure out a couple of words, you got a day. That's and so he has to puzzle his way through things most of the time while injured. Which I gotta say that most of us ended up in a world like that, we'd probably be either dead or injured too, and fairly quickly. So the writing style, it's awesome. It's awesome. It's really fun. It flows really well. The character interactions are great. Sometimes they're amusing, sometimes they really make you chuckle, especially when it comes to dealing with the spirit that has kind of looked out for 8 at the first part of it, and gifted him a few things, although demanded a few things in return. But the dialogues, they're a riot. They're a complete and total riot, and just they're fun. They're fun. Everything flows. The book, the writing style, I highly, highly, highly recommend it. If you like litRPG books and slice of life books, you must read it. This is a really good book, and I have a feeling this is going to be an absolutely fantastic series. Pretty sure I'm going to finish books 2 and book 3 tonight. So thank you everybody for watching. Please hit those like and subscribe buttons, and then go check out 8 by Samer Rabadi. We'll catch you guys next time. Bye now.